Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the People Processes podcast. I'm Rhamy Alejeal, CEO and founder of People Processes, and today we're talking about non-compete agreements. If you still have non-compete agreements in your employee contracts, I need you to hear this. The FTC's big non-compete ban, the one that was supposed to change everything, is dead. Struck down in court, officially removed from the books in February. And most employers heard that and thought, great, my non-competes are safe. And they are wrong. While everyone was watching the federal government, the states quietly built a patchwork of non-compete laws that's way more complicated than the federal ban ever would have been. Right now, 4 states ban non-competes entirely. 30-plus states restrict them, and in places like Colorado, if you hand a new hire a non-compete that doesn't comply with state law, $5,000 fine per employee for an agreement that's not enforceable. Today, I'm going to show you exactly where your non-compete stands, state by state, how to figure out if yours are still valid, and what to use instead if they're not. Let me give you the 90-second version of how we got into this mess, because it matters for understanding what to do now. The federal side of this, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, proposed a nationwide ban on non-competes in January 2023. The final rule was issued in April 2024. It was done. It would have banned virtually all non-competes nationwide. Then, a Texas federal court struck it down in August of 24. That's Ryan LLC versus the FTC. Administrative change. FTC officially removed the rule from its regulatory agenda in February of 26. They said, we're not pursuing it anymore. So the federal ban is dead. But that's not the end of the story. It's the beginning. While the FTC was fighting in court, states were passing their own laws. 4 states now ban non-competes entirely. That's California, Minnesota, North Dakota, and Oklahoma. And many more states heavily restrict them. Colorado, Illinois, Washington, Illinois, Virginia, Oregon, Maine, Maryland, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. They are heavily restricted to the point where they're basically useless. The federal rule dying didn't preserve the status quo. It made things worse for employers. Instead of one rule to follow, you got 50 different answers. Most companies have a non-compete that was drafted 3, 5, maybe 10 years ago. That agreement was probably written for one state. If you now have employees in multiple states, your boilerplate non-compete is unenforceable, probably in half of them. And here's the kicker. In some states, like we mentioned Colorado, issuing a non-valid non-compete isn't just useless, it's a violation. They'll fine you for handing someone a piece of paper that doesn't work. So, let's work on what we actually do now. Let me walk you through our kind of 5-step audit framework. This is exactly what we use with clients, 5 steps, and by the end, you'll know exactly where you stand and what to do about it. Step 1, you got to collect every non-compete, non-solicitation, confidentiality, any sort of restrictive covenant agreement you've ever issued with an employee. Most companies have more than one version floating around. The one from 2018, the one the lawyer updated in 21, the one someone copied from the internet, the one they asked ChatGPT about. Grab them all. List every employee who has signed one and note which state they work in. Not which state they were hired in, but what state they work in, where their boots are on the ground that day. If an employee signed a Texas non-compete but now works remotely in California, California law applies. Your Texas agreement is worthless. And now take those agreements, put them all in a chart. Think about it this. Understand 3 tiers. Total bans, California, Minnesota, North Dakota, Oklahoma. Non-competes are void, period. Just don't even try. Tier 2 is those heavy restriction states, Colorado, Illinois, Washington, Virginia, Oregon, Maine, Maryland, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. Those states allow non-competes, but under only very strict conditions. For example, in Colorado, there's a salary threshold. It's only for employees who earn above $128K a year, and that adjusts annually. There are time limits, usually 12 months max, geographic scope limits, and notice requirements. Some states like Virginia require you give them notice that there's going to be a non-compete, a time to review it, and then sign. As of this year, non-competes for low-wage workers are completely banned in Virginia, and the definition of low wage went up. So there's just lots of different pieces for this. Then your tier 3 states. That's most other states. Non-competes are generally enforceable, but courts will narrow them if they're too broad. Even in tier 3 states, courts regularly throw out non-competes for being overly broad in scope, duration, or geography. You can't just say, if you hire, someone for your medical practice in Miami, Florida, you can't say you don't get to practice medicine for 2 years if you leave here. It's just not going to work, right? You may, in Florida, which is a pretty forgiving state, be able to say you can't practice medicine within 20 miles of our clinic, right? For 6 months. That's about as aggressive as you're going to be able to get in any state. Managing HR in-house is overwhelming. That's why we built the People Processes Advisory System. Start with our free HR resource library. Get instant access to policies, guides, and compliance checklists. The templates are just the beginning. Run our Strategic HR Audit to scan all your key domains for your people processes. In just a few hours, we'll work through and identify your compliance gaps, and my team will generate a custom roadmap for you, meet with you, and show you exactly what to fix step by step, ready to execute. Use our toolkit to generate job profiles, deploy policies, track employee documents. You're not alone. You're backed by a 5-star expert team supporting over 10,000 employees nationwide. Be your team's secret weapon. Visit advisor.peopleprocesses.com to start your free account today. Then you got to fix what's broken. If you have employees in your Tier 1 states with active non-competes, those agreements need to be withdrawn. If you have employees in the Tier 2 states, you got to check each agreement against the state-specific requirements: salary threshold, duration, notice requirement. If you have a non-compete on file for someone in Colorado that's earning under that threshold, the state wants you to hand them a $5,000 check and tear up the agreement, okay? So tear up the agreement. Don't let bad agreements sit in the file. Just having an unenforceable non-compete is going to give the employees grounds to file a claim against you. They just have to Google it, and they'll wind up on the state website where there's a form in Colorado to say, I've been issued a non-compete, and the state will bill you. Give the money to them, okay? Then switch to what does work. This is the key. Non-competes are just one tool, and frankly, they were never the best one. First, you should think about non-solicitation agreements. You can't go after our clients or recruit our employees. These survive in almost every state, including California, with a few limits. Confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements protect trade secrets, client lists, proprietary processes. They're enforceable everywhere. Intellectual property assignment agreements. Anything you create on company time using company resources belongs to the company. Standard and enforceable. If you got to do a crazy one, a garden leave clause is what we call it. We'll pay you for up to 6 months to not work for a competitor. It's expensive but bulletproof. It doesn't have to be the entire salary either, right? So you can have basically severance agreements that are pre-agreed to that include those restrictions for significant compensation. These are usually reserved for executives. A well-drafted non-solicitation plus a strong NDA gives you 90% of what a non-compete gave you, and it works in all 50 states. The cost for something like that's probably $2 to $3, maybe $5,000 in a high expense state for an attorney to draft those proper agreements. And they're done once. You can update them throughout the years pretty easily by just following someone like us and using our free resources. Then the next step is to build retention that doesn't need a contract. That's the real talk, right? If you only have one thing keeping your best employee from leaving, and that's a piece of paper, you've already lost. Think about career ladders. Show them where they're going. Episode 68 covers this in the ROI section. Competitive compensation, pay bands based on market data, not guesswork. Culture and mission, people stay where they feel valued and see purposes. The companies that retain talent this year are not the ones with the strongest non-competes. They're the ones where people don't want to leave. If you can't lock them in, make sure they don't want to leave. It's a better strategy anyway. So let's give you the kind of step-by-step action plan what to do this month. Week 1, pull your agreements. List every employee with a restrictive covenant, their work state. This is an afternoon project, maybe half a day. Week 2, map each agreement against the tier system, flag any that are in Tier 1 or 2 states, and use the worksheet in the download, and it's going to help you. I have a comprehensive guide with every state's list of what they allow and what they don't in our web app, advisor.peopleprocesses.com. It's free to sign up. You get the download for free. It's got all our episodes. It'll update you when we have a new episode. That's the cost. And it lets you also purchase our products in the long run. I hope you enjoy it. But we put a lot of effort into the free stuff. This is an example of that comprehensive non-compete audit. Then have your attorney review any of your flagged agreements. Get a proper non-solicitation and NDA template drafted. All right, budget $2,000 to $5,000. It's a one-time cost and it's absolutely necessary. If you can't afford that, talk with our team. We have strategic places where we can give you samples, and we could have them pre-written out based on those standard agreements, and then maybe you get your attorney to review it for an hour for $300-400, right? And they'll go, yeah, that looks good, as opposed to having to draft one from scratch, going back and forth with you. Then roll out updated agreements to the employees who need them. Withdraw or replace the non-competes in week 4. It's 30 days, 4 steps, and you've gone from I have no idea if my agreements work to I know exactly where I stand and everything is enforceable. Okay? That non-complete audit worksheet, it's in the description below. It's got that state-by-state enforceability chart, all 3 tiers, every state, a checklist to evaluate your existing agreements, sample language for non-solicitation and confidentiality agreements, which is what you should use instead. You can take those to your attorney, download it, use it, and get this cleaned up. If you're realizing your agreements are a mess, I can almost guarantee the rest of your HR is too. I'll do your full strategic HR audit, normally $1,000 to $4,000, completely free for the first 10 companies who sign up from this episode. Go to advisor.peopleprocesses.com, sign up for a free account, navigate to the audit section, and select the Strategic HR Audit. Enter the code EP70 Audit, EP70 Audit. That's Echo Papa 70 Audit. At the checkout, it'll drop whatever the cost is, $1,000 to $4,000, depending on the size of your company. Be accurate, so you know we know how many employees we're reviewing, and enter that code, episode 70 Audit, and it will get the first 10 with 10 or more employees absolutely free. Okay? That's what I want to do for you guys. Get to know you. A couple other episodes. Episode 68 covers the full kind of strategic audit, what we look for, what we find, what it's costing you. Check that out. Episode 65, we have a great episode on stay interviews. That's a retention strategy that can help you replace those non-competes in the states you don't. My name is Rhamy Alejeal, and I've really appreciated the time you spent with me today. Non-competes might be dying, but your ability to protect your business and keep your best people, that doesn't require a non-compete contract. It requires a system. Don't HR alone. Go out there, have a great day, and get your work done. I'll see you soon. Thanks for checking us out.